Hi there, my name is Frank Drenner. I am the senior pastor at Grace United Methodist Church in Sherman, Texas, which I consider to be the best church in North Texas Conference, but anyway, I'm biased, of course. Our superintendent, Todd Harris, asked all the pastors and lay people to start thinking about their calls to ministry and to start sharing those. And so I wanted to stop by and share a little bit about my call. When I was 23 years old, I was fresh out of college, and I had a degree in history, and I was going to be a history teacher, but I didn't have a job. And so I was living at home, sleeping on my parents' couch, and my mom just urged me, hey, get out of the house, go help out the youth group in my home church, which is First UMC of Bay City, Texas. It's in the Texas Conference. And so I started getting involved with the youth ministry there. I went to summer camp. I went to Army, which was the mission trip. Helped out on Sunday nights in Bible study. The youth were just a few years younger than me, and I had a tremendous time. And I remember while I was at summer camp with them, I had this experience of a call to ministry. There was a chapel service. I remember someone had set up a telephone on the altar, and there was a ringing sound, and someone picked up the phone. It was like, hey, God's calling. And I felt that in my heart. God was calling me into youth ministry. And I talked with the youth pastor at my home church, and she said, you know what, the church that I came to Bay City from in Missouri City, which is just outside of Houston, they still haven't filled my job. Why don't you apply there? And I did, and I got it. I had no reason, that church had no reason to hire me. I had no experience other than a few weeks of being a volunteer. But I began working in youth ministry, and I did it for 2 years. I even eventually got a job teaching history. And so I was a history teacher during the week and a youth director at night. And I went on a walk to Emmaus. This was September of 94. I was 23 years old. I think I was the second youngest person on that walk. And it was on that walk that I had a call to ordained ministry. And I met with the spiritual director during the walk. I met with my district superintendent, Bob Hayes, who would later become bishop of the Oklahoma Conference, and started candidacy, was assigned a mentor, eventually moved to Dallas to attend seminary at SMU, Perkins School of Theology. And, it's just been, again, I had no reason to do that. It was just God's call in my life. And, I had grown up in the church, but I didn't have this tremendous Bible knowledge. I didn't know a whole lot about anything when I showed up at the Perkins campus. But those 4 years were amazing to me. I met my wife, Christy, at SMU. SMU is kind of our home together. We were married. We, graduated at the same time. She was an undergraduate. I was at Perkins, and then we went to England and served for a year together doing ministry in churches over there. And I was ordained a deacon first. I was ordained an elder later, a couple of years later. And that's been more than 20 years ago now. And I'll never forget, right before I went into my interviews with the Board of Ordained Ministry, someone who was kind of mentoring me or kind of coaching me up a little bit before that interview, she said, think about ordination as a gift. And even just saying that again, I get goosebumps. That's exactly right. Ordination, ministry in the church, whether you're a licensed local pastor or an ordained elder like I am now, it is a gift. It is a privilege that God gives to us to serve the church. It isn't always easy. But it is always joyful. It is always humbling to be a part of the ministry of the church. And I am forever grateful. I've had opportunity to kind of return thanks for the support I've received. I've mentored a ton of pastors coming up through the process. I've served on the district committee of ordained ministry in several different districts in our North Texas Conference, and I'll be starting on the board of ordained ministry this coming year, and I'm really excited about that. Very thankful for that invitation from our Bishop McKee. But God's call on my life just transformed my life. I didn't grow up thinking I would be a pastor. I didn't have plans for that, and yet God just kind of surrounded me with this grace and this love and these mentors and these guides and a faithful spouse and a supportive family, and it's just been an amazing experience for me. And this over here, this picture on my wall, you can't really see it very well. It's a scripture from Jeremiah that says, "I know the plans I have for you, to give you a future and to give you a hope." And every time I look on that, every time I stand in a pulpit or on a Zoom call or record an online service, I'm aware of God's plans for me. And I'm as shocked as anybody who knew me growing up that I would one day have this position and privilege. And there's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful for it. So I would love to hear about your call story. And if there's a way that I can help you discern your story to help shape it up. I mean, every person is called by God. Not everyone's called into ordained ministry or licensed ministry, but everyone has a ministry. And part of a mentor's responsibility is to help that person discern that call and understand it and own it for themselves. I consider that to be the great privilege of my ministry. And if I can be of any help to you in helping you figure that out, please reach out. I would consider that an honor. And if you've never even thought about the possibility of being called, this might be just that moment of awakening. And if that's the case, say yes to it. Seek out your pastor, seek out a respected leader in your church, and share that. And then listen to how they respond. It may be that they'll say, "You know what? I've seen that in you myself." God bless you. Listen to the call, respond to it, say yes, serve the Lord, build the church, become Christ's disciple. And it's an amazing, amazing gift. Thanks for your time.